Hi guys, welcome back to the Library of Allenxandria. Today I'm going to be talking about, I started this video and I forgot what I was going to talk about. I'm going to be talking about series that I'm in the middle of that I haven't finished or continued with. And this is mostly in an effort to call accountability to myself, to be like, hey, look at all these series that you have open. What if, when you had some extra time, you finished one of those series instead of, I don't know, starting a new one or picking up some rando book or something. So yeah, so anyway, I got my spreadsheet here. I got Jamie over there ready to pull up anything that I need pulled up. So, without wasting any more time,
Let's get down to business.
let's talk about the series that I have open. Now, this will not include series that I am caught up on and that are still ongoing, like Kithamar. Just waiting here for Judge of Worlds, Daniel Abraham. Come on, DA. Where's Judge of Worlds? You're too busy out there with old Ty writing Captives War stuff. But what if you came out with Judge of Worlds? That'd be great. Captives War, caught up on that. What else am I caught up on? Hold on. Yeah, I'm caught up on the new Greatcoats, caught up on Great Silence, caught up on Tyrant Philosophers. So yeah, all that stuff. We don't need to mention those because it doesn't matter. So, oh man, there's so many, guys. I don't know how I'm going to get this video done, especially since my camera right there says I got 27, why has I got 27 minutes? I need to delete something off of that memory card. Regardless, okay, so the first one is, what do we have? So, I've got, 8? So there's 8 ongoing series that I'm behind on, like series that aren't done. That's actually not true. Some of these are finished. I need to, oh man, like, look, in real time, I need to frickin' do this. Anyway, so whatever. First is the Hexologist, and the next book is A Tangle in Time. I read the first one, which is just called The Hexologist. This is by Josiah Bancroft. This is about a husband and wife, a middle-aged husband and wife couple, named Warren and Isolde, right? Isolde? What's their last name? Wilby? Anyway, it's Warren and and you know, it's a really good portrayal of a married family, like a husband and wife that actually love each other and, you know, want to have sexy times. But it's like a Victorian era, I don't know, supernatural mystery. Like, this could be written, you know, forever. Except that I don't think a bunch of people read it, but they should. Anyway, Tangle in Time is the second one. I got the arc for it and it just ran out of time. I love Josiah Bancroft. I love the Senlin series. I loved the Hexologist. So I need to read Tangle in Time. Christina also. She also read both of those series and Hexologist. So maybe we'll read it together. I don't know. But that's going to stay. Some of these we're going to go through and I'm going to be like, guys, I'm not reading it. Like, I'm going to DNF it right here on screen. In front of everybody. Speaking of, so, the Nero series by Con Iggulden. Book 2 is Tyrant. So, me and Anitha and some others. I forget everyone who was involved, but there were several others. We all were reading kind of Roman historical fiction kind of in order. We read I, Claudius, and we read Cicero, I, Claudius, Augustus. That's not really in order. And then Con Iggulden came out with this first book in this Nero series, which is theoretical about Nero, and guys, it was not good. Like, I gave it 3 stars initially. I've lowered it since then, because the more I thought about it, the less I liked it. Like, my favorite character in that was Nero's dad, who was just a huge douchebag. Like, he's not even a good character. It's not good. Like, first of all, it's not even about Nero. Like, Nero is a little kid. So it's about Agrippina, really, his mom, but it's not called Agrippina. And there's nothing wrong with Agrippina, except that, like, Caligula's in it, and Claudius is in it, and the way Claudius was portrayed is just like, it's just beyond the pale. And if you know anything about Agrippina, there is a 0% chance that Agrippina is bringing her young son to Britain in the middle of a war. She's just not going to do it. And she does. And Claudius is like a weird creeper. I don't know. I have not read the second book. I think, Kyle, you've read the second book if you watch this. Kyle, you've read the second book, right? I did not enjoy the first book, and so I'm not going to be continuing this. This is unfortunate, because this was my first experience with Con Iggulden. Like, my first Con Iggulden book was this, and it was not good. So, moving on from that. What do I have next on here? Book of the Usurper by Aaron M. Evans. So the first book was Empire of Exiles. Second book is called Relics of Ruin, and it came out like couple, 3 years ago, and I did not read it. I actually had an interview with Erin Evans on my channel about it. She's like a D&D author. Like, she's written a lot of D&D books about tieflings. And I really enjoyed the first one. The main characters are like scholars, academics, like archivists, basically. They're nerds that work in, a nerd museum. And they, one of their friends, like, brutally murdered at, like, a party or something. And I forget a lot that happens, but I know there's a salt wall that's meant to keep the demons out. And there's a usurper that was... I really liked the way the history of the usurper was told, the way it's layered in like bits between parts of the book. But I would definitely have to reread the first one before I continued. I have an arc of the second one that I just never got around to reading. I'm going to continue this one. I just have not gotten around to it, so I will. This is one of the ones that has been finished, but I have not updated my spreadsheet, and it's Nightingale and the Falcon by Stephen Arian, or Arian. I don't know how to pronounce your last name, Stephen. I apologize. And this is historical fantasy. He always corrects us when we say historical fiction. It's historical fantasy. There's magical elements, and it's about, like, I guess, like the fall of the Persian Empire with the... Not Persian. Yeah. Fall of the Persian Empire with the advent of the Mongols, kind of. Like, the Mongols are running over what's left of the Persians, and so the main character are... They're, I think, the grandsons of Genghis Khan. And it was really good. I actually really, really enjoyed it, and I have not continued yet. I'm still in book 2. I still have to read book 2, and book 3 has already been released. So book 2 is A Blood Dim Tide. I will definitely be continuing with that one. Here's an ongoing series, Red Rising. And I have read all the way up to Light Spacebringer, and I never read the most recent one, Light Spacebringer. And I really liked Red Rising. Pierce Brown, who will never watch this, so... Pierce, what are you doing? You can't violate POV rules. And he does. Brutally. And if you are coming here to defend his POV breaking rules, like, I need you to understand, you're the person that justifies other people's horrible behavior. I need you to think about people like IRL that you're not a huge fan of because they justify, like, things that you don't like, and then come at me with justifying the fact that Pierce Brown doesn't break POV laws, because he does. He breaks the POV laws. There's no excuse for it. You just think it's cool and you like Red Rising, which is totally fine. That is a perfectly valid thing. I also like Red Rising, despite the fact that it is an absolute blatant POV violation. I did not like Iron Gold or Dark Age as much, which is, I think, probably why I did not jump on Light Spacebringer, and also the fact that it had been a couple years, and so I've forgotten everything. Fortunately, Red Rising is popular enough to where I think even if I choose not to reread before Red God comes out, there's probably a wiki somewhere that has synopsis or, like, what happened last time or whatever. I don't know why authors are not contractually obligated to write, like, detailed synopses of previous books before releasing a new one, because they should be. But I can probably read that. But TBH, I'll probably read the whole series again. But I gotta wait till Red God comes out. Oh, what's next? Age of Uprising by R.S. Ford. So the first book was Engines of Empire, and the second book is Engines of Chaos. So, I did not continue this. I do know some people who have continued it. If you have... Shad, are you one of them? I think Shad read these. I read this because I thought it had a lot of potential. There are mechs. It's like a fantasy setting with mechs. And guys, I think I am unduly excited about mechs in a fantasy setting. And then nothing really was done with them. Did not deliver on its promise, I thought. The city and all of the machinery and engineering stuff was the coolest part, and yet most of the books and the POVs were outside of the city in just some generic fantasy setting. So I didn't really love it. I am not sure this is one I'm going to continue. It's not a certain DNF like Tyrant, but I don't know. I don't know about this one. Next is Winter Chronicles by Ed McDonald, and this was really disappointing. The first book is Daughter of Red Winter. The second one is what is it? Trader of Red Winter, and I think the third one is Witch Queen, Witch of Red Winter, Witch Girl, Witch Queen, Witch, just regular Witch of Red Winter. This was really disappointing because Ed McDonald wrote Blackwing, which I really, really liked. Like, I liked Blackwing a lot. I read the first book twice, and that series is really, really good. This one, just not so much. It's kind of like a fantasy mystery, which I do like. There's a little bit of that in Blackwing, but it was just not great. Like, it was mediocre. I remember Leanna and I read this together, and neither one, I liked it more than she did, but neither one of us really cared for it. Certainly not enough for me to read the next one. I'm not, like, I would continue this one probably before I'd continue Age of Uprising, but I don't know. Like, I'm not super sold on it. Like, I don't really want to reread Daughter of Red Winter. I don't know. Next is The Chronicles of Three Kingdoms by Baptiste Ponchon-Wu. These are self-published books about the Han Dynasty, the Three Kingdoms of the Han Dynasty, and the first one was good. It feels a little modern for the time period, like just the writing and the way he talks. I never continued past the first one. I know it's supposed to be 10 books. I think 4 are out. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I've only read the first one. I will continue this for sure. Probably when, I don't know. I'll continue this. Again, this is also like a video like for my patrons who can put stuff on my patron wheel, being like, hey guys, what if y'all put on one of the books of a series that I need to read instead of first books of a new 7-book series or whatever. But yeah, I'll continue this one. The next one is one that I really do want to continue and didn't. This was my very first BookTube review, and it never made it on camera. It never made it on, because when I reviewed it, it was so bad. Like, the review was bad. I don't know, like, I just hadn't gotten comfortable on camera or whatever. And this is the Destroyermen series by Taylor Anderson. This is kind of alternate history. The first book is Maelstrom, and it's about, like, a World War II, like, destroyer over in the Pacific fighting the Japanese, and it gets pulled through, I don't know, some portal in space and time, and gets teleported to an alternate Earth where humans never evolved. Instead, the Lemurians, which are like these lemur cats, and then I forget what the alligator people are called, but like it's alligator people. And it was fun, it's World War II, people on a boat. He talks about bosuns a lot. I hope you know what a bosun is. And then there is a brutal, like, abattoir scene in it. And I'm just like, what am I reading? But it was good enough to where I think it's like a 12-book series, but the book's only like 300-something pages. So it was really good. If you've ever read any more of the Destroyermen besides just the first book, please let me know if they're any good. But that's one I definitely want to continue. The next one is Black Company, and that doesn't really count. It's just I haven't read Port of Shadows. I've read all of the other ones, including Lies Weeping. I just haven't read Port of Shadows. So that one is one that, if I have space, I certainly need to just polish it off so I can add it as complete on my spreadsheet. After that is Sharpe. I've read a lot of Sharpe. I forget which Sharpe I stopped on. I read a lot of Sharpe in college. When I started my Sharpe reread, I've really only read the first... I only reread the first 3. So, Tiger, Fortress, Triumph. And I want to continue with Sharpe because I like the Napoleonic War historical fiction. And I like Bernard Cornwell. And I like Sharpe. I wish that they were written in... Like, I wish the publication order was chronological order. Because I really like the way, like, Tiger's written and the characterizations and everything, and some of those are a little off as you get, like, Trafalgar, I think, which is book 4. I think it was written before the Indian trilogy, so, characterization's just different. But the next one is Trafalgar, Sharpe's Trafalgar, that I want to read, but I have not yet. Next, the Tales of the Malazan Empire, Novels of the Malazan Empire, by Ian Esselmont. And I'm on Stonewielder. Guys, after Return of the Crimson Guard, like, I just couldn't. I don't like that book at all. Return of the Crimson Guard is probably my least favorite book that I completed since I've been on BookTube. I just don't like it, and I don't think it's because I do not think Ian Esselmont is a bad writer. I think Ian Esselmont is much better when he stops trying to be Steven Erikson. And I hear that that some of the later books are better about that. Like, I think he's a good action writer. But there are some plot beats in Return of the Crimson. First of all, it's too long. It's 800 pages and has no business being that long. None at all. Second, some of the dialogue is absolutely preposterous. Like, it's just bad. Like, it's just not good dialogue. Like, it's not good dialogue. And it's not me ragging on him. It's just not good dialogue. And then third, some really important story beats I do not think were handled very well. So I hated it. And also the main character's name is Kyle, and that's just not when other people's names are like Ublala Pung and Tashrin and Coltane and I don't know, Spindle, Whiskey Jack, Quick Ben, and then you got Kyle. Like Quick Ben is, I mean, I get it. Like I understand. But Kyle sounds way more like milquetoast Starbucks worker that just got off his shift and stumbled into, getting a Bacchus or whatever. So because of that, I stopped. I hear Stonewheeler has naval battles, which is exciting to me. I will continue because I do love the world of Malazan, and I love Steven Erikson as a human, and I would like to, be equipped with all the Malazan knowledge as possible. So I do need to read Stonewheeler. I'm not gonna quit that. Wow, here's a blast from the past. Greenbone Saga. I read this on my first year on BookTube back in Shelf Space. Me and those were good times. It was early in the BookTube milieu, before everyone and their mom had a Discord and a channel, and a bunch of us just all read the same stuff, and it was so much fun. That is the only situation under which that I will say I enjoyed Rage of Dragons, just because of the discourse between a whole server having read it at the same time. And we all read Greenbone, and Joanna and I were just kind of lukewarm on it. I gave it 4 stars. It was fine. I did not dislike it. Joanna was more negative on it than I was. But I just never continued. And that makes me a bad friend, because I always promised Charmaine that I'm going to continue. And I am. I am going to continue. I have already promised Charmaine that 2027, the first 4 months, will be Dandelion Dynasty. And you know what? No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do a channel read-along of Greenbone. Anybody who's going to read Greenbone's already read Greenbone. But I do need to read Greenbone. Charmaine, you need to put Jade War on the Patreon wheel. So anyway, I need to read Jade War. I'm feeling some indigestion, and what I hear is that Jade Legacy is actually a panacea miracle cure, and so if I read Jade Legacy, my indigestion will be cured, and I will be better. So, clearly, since it's the best book that anybody's ever read, in the history of fantasy. Spellslinger, Sebastian de Castell. So I'm a big Sebastian de Castell fan, and Spellslinger is his younger. It's not YA. I don't think it's YA, but it definitely is younger than Greatcoats. It reads younger than Greatcoats. The heroes are younger than Greatcoats. And I read Spellslinger right after I finished Greatcoats, and I just never continued. And I'm going to read everything Sebastian de Castell writes, because I'm a huge fan of his. I don't know him personally, like I've never met him, because he's in Canada and Europe all the time. But I correspond with him via email with, some frequency. So I need to read that, because I would just like to be caught up on all that. There's also card magic and other magic, which is cool. But there's a foul squirrel cat. It's fine, but y'all know, one, animal mascots are not really my thing. And 2, hard-drinking, foul-mouthed sidekicks are not really my thing either. So we'll see. But I definitely will continue that. The second one is Shadow Black. I have all 5. I just haven't read them yet. What's after that? Ember in the Ashes by Saba Tahir. So the next one is Torch Against the Night. The first one is the first one called Ember in the Ashes? Is that the... Yeah, right? Is that the series? Is that the series and the book name? So I would rather read Torch Against the Night than I would rather read Nero than read Nero. I finished this, and it is dumb. Please not misunderstand. Ember in the Ashes is dumb. It is dumb, and the main villain at the school is a murderous. A murderous. He's not a murderess. Marcus, a murderous. A murderous sex crime waiting to happen, right? And it's just ludicrous. But man, can Tahir spin a yarn, because I read that super fast, and I didn't hate my time. I liked it better than Akatar. So I would read Torch Against the Night. I would. Now it's not on my priority list, but I would certainly read Torch Against the Night. What's next? The Powder Mage. Okay, so the Powder Mage trilogy, I read Promise of Blood, and it was one of the shelf space read-alongs, and we all read it, and most of us came away with a sour taste in my mouth. I have never seen a book go downhill so fast. The prologue is so good. And this is the only way I can justify it. I think that Brian McClellan, because he's a student of Sanderson, I think that his prologue was workshopped. Like, I'm convinced, and I may be wrong, because the prologue is so tight and so good that I have a hard time believing it was not workshopped. And the book continues to be pretty good until I think like chapter 10, and then it falls apart. And there are so many things that, if you've been following this channel at all, you know that I love Flintlock Fantasy. And you know that I have been on a quest to find the best Flintlock Fantasy. And Promise of Blood, the Powder Mage trilogy, is held up as kind of like the standard bearer for Flintlock Fantasy, and I don't think it should be. Because I think Thousand Names by Django Wexler is better. I think Guns of the Dawn by Adrian Tchaikovsky is better. I think Guns Above by Robin Bennis is better. There's just too much stuff that I just don't know what's going on. I'm going to read the rest of it because, again, my quest for Flintlock, I'm going to read the Flintlock. I just don't understand a lot of it. Like, Taniel, the character is just awful, and the magic is, I don't think, realistic, again, within a magic system, right? I don't think Brian McClellan knows how many men a million is. Like, a million people on one side of a battle is a lot. Like, it's a lot. I've also read all the Powder Mage, like, novellas, short stories, and those are not edited. They can't be. And guys, they're not good either. There's one actual one that's actually decent. There's one actually I would venture to say that I like. There's one of them I like. But like Hope's End, why is it called a Hope's End when Forlorn Hope is the term he's looking for? Like, that is the term. Like, why would you change the name of Forlorn Hope to Hope's End? 2, the Siege of Tilper, guys, the people leave the walls. They don't guard the walls if it's raining. That's how they get over the walls. So I spoiled the Siege of Tilper for you. They can't take this city, and then it rains, and they go over during the rain. And that makes no sense whatsoever, because then every single city could be taken just in a storm, and it doesn't make any sense. My main problem with Powder Mage is, yeah, Taniel, the fact that every noble has exactly one personality trait, and that is hating commoners. And guys, I know that I'm prone to hyperbole. I'm not being hyperbolic. Like, I'm not. If you've read Powder Mage and you're not a stan, you'll know. But some people defend Powder Mage all the time, too, and I don't really understand that. The detective is supposed to be the world's greatest detective. He's not. He bumbles from one clue to another and asks people questions. And he doesn't know if they're lying to him because he doesn't, like, try to trick them or anything. He literally just asks questions about a crime scene. Like, and there's no, like, deductive reasoning or anything. It's just bizarre. Like, it's bizarre. Anyway, I will continue. But I did not particularly enjoy Powder Mage. Then we have the Diabolic, the series The Diabolic by S.J. Kincaid. So I read this one as part of a TBR swap with Leanna. And I actually really liked the Diabolic. It's like I, Claudius in space, I guess, kind of like that. Very, very loosely. And, you know, it's like an enemies to lovers kind of thing. So there is a little bit of romance in it. It is YA, I think it's YA. But I really enjoyed it. And I would read the next book, The Empress. Like, I liked the Diabolic. I would read The Empress before I would read Torch Against the Night. So, yeah, I like that one too. I just have not yet, gotten to it. How many more I got? This is 25 minutes. I got so many more, y'all. Oh, my lord. Okay, well, I'm going to stop here. This is part 1. Look at that. And I'll be dadgum. Series that I've started, and, I guess I'll finish at a different time. How many did I do here in all that time? Hold on. Let me see how many I did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I did 16. Do I have fewer than 16? I have more than 16. I should keep going. I'm going to try to make it half and half. Shadows of the Apt. Oh, that's an easy one. Shadows of the Apt, I'm definitely continuing. I'm on book 6. I'd read up to book 7, but it'd been a long time between books and everything, so I restarted the series, and as you saw, it's part of my read-alongs this year. I'm currently listening to book 2, so I'm going to listen to audio all the way up to book 7. Once I start book 7, I will switch back to reading them. So I'm on Heirs of the Blade. I just haven't made it back. Hyperion Cantos by Dan Simmons. The Hyperion Cantos, I like Hyperion, even though is Keats, is that the one in that? Keats? Lord Byron? It's Keats. I don't care. I have not read... I read Fall of Hyperion many moons ago, and I've forgotten all of it. I have heard, though, that Fall of Hyperion and then Endymion and Rise of Endymion aren't very good. Is that true? Someone tell me. I am not canceling this one because I would like to continue it. I just don't reach for sci-fi very often, he said, having just read Faith of Beasts and right before that Wistful Ascending. I just don't really reach for sci-fi very often. And I just talked about Diabolic. But I will finish this one like I will, I think. But let me know if the Hyperion Cantos, the rest of the Hyperion Cantos, is decent or if it's, not. So yeah. I guess I'm going to leave this at 30 minutes. I don't really see... Like, if it was just going to take me 40 minutes, I would do it. But this is going to take me another 30 minutes. And I'm not going to subject all this for an hour. So I'll just... And besides, I can get another video out of this. Are you kidding? Like, nice. I can actually post videos. So sure. So I'm going to stop it here. This is part 1 of series that I have not finished yet. If you have any thoughts on all those, just let me know. That's all for me for today, guys. Thanks a lot. And, oh my gosh, how do I end these? That's all for me for today. That is all for me. That is all from me for today. Oh my gosh, I've forgotten. That's all for me for today. I don't know. That's it. Remember, information about Patreon and Discord is down in the description, and I'll see you next time, guys.